Bloodborne. Hey Gil, welcome back to Dynamic Debuff. We're playing video games with your friends is the best way to play. Welcome to our video game journal, where we're going to give you our thoughts and opinions on games that we're currently playing on the channel, but it's our first playthrough ever. We've never played the game before, so you're going to get our raw opinions on it. The opinions could change episodes from now. They may not change. You may not like those opinions, but again, later on down the line, they could totally change after we get more information of the game.
A lot of hedging there.
hey, who knows? You know, like, I'm only so far, you know, and I have like gripes, but those gripes could be taken care of or completely irrelevant.
Right.
By the end of this, you know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as time goes on, it will change because you'll be like, oh, this is a dumb feature. And then it's like, actually, okay.
Yeah, like
I get it.
Yeah, like I never took the axe apart, but you know what? Taking that axe apart every now and then is pretty nifty.
Yeah,
you know, like I have no idea yet. Yeah.
Right.
Because right now I'm just big old sword. Big swing, big dick swinging.
What game are we talking about today?
I'm playing Bloodborne at the moment. He's been begging me for ever to play some sort of Soulsborne game, and we finally decided to just do it live on camera.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I have played. Oh my God, I played this game. This is his first time playing it, though. So I'm going to kind of just let him go through, do his own jam, and kind of get his raw opinion on that thing.
Yeah. For those that haven't watched the videos, like he explained very thoroughly how all he's really trying to do is just kind of tell me mechanics. And every now and then when I'm just lost or something, and I'm I'm not seeing a shortcut or something like that, just for the sake of time. Hang on, stop, turn around, go hit that lever real quick. Yeah. Let's open up this shortcut so you're not walking all the way back around the map just to try to go cash in some blood shards, whatever they're called.
Yeah, blood echoes. Dude, I call them souls. I don't even care.
God. But, I mean, at least, so right now, where I'm at, I've just beaten Father Gasciogne, or as we like to call him, Father Gallbladder. And at the moment, my overall opinion of everything so far, it's pretty damn good. I have some negative opinions on it, but I mean, overall, the game's delivering.
Yeah.
It's not making me mad. When I do get mad, it's not necessarily the game's fault that I'm mad. It's more, a personal reason why I'm mad at the game.
Yeah.
That I'm not performing as well as I should be performing, and then just getting over the learning curve that Soulsborne games give you.
Right, because you haven't played any Soulsborne game ever.
This is straight raw. Okay. I was thinking about this earlier. I really have never even seen video game footage of any Soulsborne game. Like, I was thinking about it. I think it's until I watched you play Dark Souls 3. Was that what you were streaming the other day?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah. Okay. So I had heard in Dark Souls, like the bonfires, and how they're so damn hard to get to or whatever, and like when you finally get to one, you're just like yes or whatever. And whenever this is just to show you like how little I know about this stuff. Whenever I heard bonfire, I was thinking like homecoming bonfire. Like it is a big some bitch.
No,
right? Like that was my impression of like how integral these things are to your gameplay, So whenever I saw you go up to a bonfire, I'm like, that little piece of shit.
Right.
Like I'm sitting there the whole time, like I had this like thing in my head of just fantasy, and then it's just a little old campfire.
Right.
Which I kind of feel is a disservice to the game if they haven't played it yet, that they should have made it these big epic badass bonfires because you're carrying the flame, but instead it's just like, I mean, even the Olympic torch is bigger.
Well, that's true. That is fair. Yeah.
But, I mean,
the lanterns, in all honesty, which for Bloodborne, the lanterns serve as the bonfire, right?
No,
or whatever.
Yeah. And I think the lanterns are cool for the game. So like it fits very well.
Yes. Yeah, it looks awesome. I remember when I was first playing through it, I thought that those were rinky dink only because I couldn't do anything at them. And so it was just like, do you want to travel? And I'm like, I guess so. So I would get there. And like normally it is that like, oh, thank God I can reset the world. Let me go ahead and do some stuff in my inventory or whatever. It was just like, turn on. I was like, damn it.
What the, no. But yeah, so that's how much knowledge I have. Is I thought the bonfires and Souls games were like actual like awesome epic things that no. Severely disappointed when I saw that.
Yeah. Okay, so but overall, just a general broad overall, you're like, okay, this is pretty dope.
Yeah, it is living up to the hype, if you will.
Yeah.
You know,
but you don't play a lot of third person games either, right?
No, not really. It's usually not my jam. Just because of the type of game that it implies. Like
specifically over the shoulder third person. Because like I technically isn't like Zelda and stuff's considered.
Yeah, this third person, yes.
Okay.
But I guess like over the shoulder or whatever.
The real
what
close.
Is it? Like New Vegas or whatever? Wasn't that like over the shoulder?
I think you had an option
or whatever. Yeah.
You're talking about Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah, Fallout, yeah.
You had the option in Fallout.
Okay.
They do it like Dead Space was really big on it because it was like right here.
Right, yeah. And I don't play those games really.
Right,
There's just, unless it's like the Zelda point of view or first person or top-down side
like
scrolling or whatever.
Back. Okay.
You know, I usually don't mess with it just because of the type of game that it implies, usually.
Okay.
Like, there's like weird, like, think of like Fallout, like turn-based shooter type thing, you know? Like, if I'm going to play a turn-based game, I'm just going to like go play like a JRPG or something,
right.
you know?
Okay.
I'm not going to try to be in this weird first-person world. When if I'm in this weird first-person kind of world, like, no, I want gameplay like that. I don't want to be like, hang on, let me click, okay, attack or whatever. Like, no, that's just like ruining the flow of the game. Like, I'm supposed
that's an option, right?
Well, I know. Yeah. Like you were just saying it, but
I don't use that option either.
With the turn-based or the over the shoulder?
The turn-based.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When I played it and saw that, I was like, no.
Yeah, no,
no, I'm shooting.
That's the dumbest shit right there. Like it'd be like playing Doom and you get into a room, like a kill room, right? And it's just like, okay, hang on. Where do you want to hit the beast? Where do you want the Hell Knight at? You want to hit here?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want to hit it all over that fucker until it's dead.
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
whatever means necessary because I am the Doom guy and I am badass.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that would just take away the flow of the game and what it is to me. And I mean, granted, that's probably how they kind of like wanted to design it and everything, but just still, like if I'm in that first person mode, don't.
I think it had to do with the first Fallout or something. There's some
I never played them, so
I don't know.
Because again, the type of game that it implies.
Right.
Like the only game that I have played lightly like that is Skyrim, even though it's not turn-based, but like that style of game, like sandboxy, going through. Like that's it. That I can think of at least off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. Well, so more specifically for Bloodborne, what about like just the map design? What do you think about that as far as just either compared to games that you've already played or just, you know, like initial thoughts?
Yeah, kind of meh. I mean, the design, let's just go with like aesthetic first, let's say.
Okay.
Like how just the maps look great. It fits the world great. The only thing that I don't like is the damn crows because they blend in too much.
Yeah.
It is very easy to just think it's like a puddle of oil, you know, even though...
Until it has that like... yeah, or you're like, what is that? And then it just kind of like you see the little eyes turn and it kind of gives that little...
Like, besides stupid, like that, whatever, but just like it is a very pretty game, especially for the time or whatever. Like when it came out, was like 2015 or something like that. And I mean, I know that we got a lot better at game design at that time. I'm pretty sure it's 2015. Like I see it every time I'm uploading a video. I type in Bloodborne, it says 2015.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it came in like late, early or whatever, but just 2015.
Yeah.
But the actual design of the map that I have encountered now, like just like, okay, go from point A to point B to C or whatever, you know, like this is how you go through the level. I do not like. And I know we've talked about it, like everything circles.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
It's just like, it's a circle with like some up and down planes, you know, like you have like, it's like a square with a circle in it is the best way to describe it. Oh, these squares make a circle. Oh, these squares make a circle.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of lame, personally. Like, they could have expanded upon that a little bit better. Like, at least give me like a left turn, you know, instead of just constant right turns. You know, like,
yeah, you gotta unlock that.
This isn't NASCAR.
You gotta unlock it.
Which that's another problem is the unlocking aspect of it. Like, you go through and you're fighting these beasts that are ridiculously hard, which I'm not complaining about it, but you're grinding, you're going through, and then you finally like come to a dead end, let's say. And it's not really a dead end. There's actually a switch somewhere that is very poorly conveyed to at least me. Like, it may not have been to you when you played it, but at least to me, like, you had to tell me twice because I walked right past the shit. Like the switches. And even after the first one, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a switch, and I'm looking out for the switch now, and I can't even see it. And then that's another time there was a ladder. And I know ladders exist in the game because boot, scoot, and ladder, and I completely missed a ladder that existed. Like, it's very bad at, like, let's say, like, funneling your vision without blatantly going, ladder over here, guys, where, like, the design itself can lead the eye to say, hey, there's something over here, you know, that you actually want.
Yeah.
And then also the reward. Let's say, like, when I got to one of the fatties, there was a ladder behind him that allowed me to get back up to the beginning of the level, I think it was. Or maybe got up and then I had to travel a bit more. I can't remember exactly. But the reward for exploration, okay? And I found, like, this one lone baddie, you know, and I kill him. I only get, like, 2 blood vials. And then a ladder. Like, the reward for exploring and trying to find this stuff that is very hard to even just spot with the eye is poor, in my opinion. Like, if I'm going around and exploring stuff for fun, like how you were telling me about the music box, you know, like that would have been a good thing. Right, fine. You know, granted, like, I'd completely passed that, but whatever. But, like, I'm just going around, here's a dead end, here's a bad guy by himself, which usually signifies, like, something, you know, like the cleric beast at the end of the bridge, like, it's fucking something, you know. The rewards are just shit, in my opinion, for it. Like, even if, let's just say, like, instead of just giving me 2 blood vials, they gave me 6, it would have been better. Like, there was 6 blood vials sitting on a fucking bench in the open that, like, I didn't touch for I don't know how long. That was my own fault, just because I was like, screw it. But still, it's like, there's 6 blood vials that I can just walk up to whenever there's this fatty guarding a ladder to just open a shortcut. Doesn't give me anything but 2 blood vials. That's what I'm talking about, like, bad level design and everything like that, and map design. Like, you should reward the player more in this game specifically. It doesn't have to be, like, something crazy. Again, like, 6 blood vials would have sufficed.
Yeah. You know,
especially with them just sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I mean, levels from now, I could be like,
no. I don't. No, I'm laughing at it only because of the because I do understand. I get what you're saying about how the design, like, for say, like, opening a door or opening a gate, ladders, stuff like that. I don't know if that was difficult for me whenever I played. I don't think that it was for Bloodborne, but I want to say that's because I was already in, like, I'd already played Dark Souls. I started with Demon Souls, like, rules. OG, right? So already, it was one of those, like, you're not pointing anything out to me. Like, there's not a, like, hey guy, there's a ladder over here. They're like, it's just the world. Like, there's a ladder. Like, no one's gonna, you know, if you were walking down the street and there was a ladder, no one's gonna go, hey bro, ladder. Like, nobody does that. I get that, yeah. And I think I was already, like, indoctrinated into that idea, so it wasn't hard for me to see that. And then as far as the, like, rewards for stuff, I'm laughing at that only because again, with the way that video games, because there's a lot of, like, you're pulling this, you know, from compared to other video games. It's the only way to look at those things. Is the normal idea of, like, risk and reward and stuff like that. like this game specifically is very much high risk, high reward, but other than that, there are zero rewards.
No,
and so
I get that.
It's very much a like, you did exploration. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Why don't you? And I'm not saying anything against like how it's your opinion about it.
Yeah.
I think it's that like anytime, especially like from after Dark Souls 1, even Demon Souls. God, Demon Souls was terrible. It was so hard. Not just a terrible game. It was just terribly hard. But the idea of you do a thing and you don't get rewarded, like, gets beaten the fuck out of you. Like when I played Bloodborne and I would do a thing and be like, dang it, because you would get like 2 blood vials from it and be like, fuck man, I like climbed up this thing, fought a bunch of hard people to get on a rafter to be like, there's a bunch of pebbles up here. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the reason why I'm saying that is piss poor game design is if you have that in your game to encourage exploration of your world that you designed, why the fuck would I go explore it?
Well, and I don't know. I don't think that you've.
I mean, just think about it. Like, there's no reason to go explore this shit, especially from a first-time playthrough. Like, pretend you didn't play those games before, and you're just wanting to enjoy the world, you know. And you like walked through something, like found a door you didn't know open, went back there, and all there is like, let's say, for sake of argument, the cleric beast, and you beat the cleric beast, and all it's like 2 blood vials. Like, fuck that.
Right.
You know, like, why the shit would I explore your world that you designed, that you spent hours designing, for me to go explore every single spot, you know, just to, because I enjoy the world to look at and everything like that, but you're not, like, at least giving me something.
I think,
like, even, like, real quick, even Super Mario Odyssey, like, they knew that people would be trying crazy batshit ways to platform through their levels, like insane ways, you know, and like places like, and try to get on top of stuff that would be impossible to get on top of.
Right.
And when you get up there, there's invisible coins.
Yeah, they put
them there.
Right.
You know, so like even that, something simple as that, you know, like coins mean nothing in Super Mario Odyssey. Literally fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's just a nice like, hey, all right.
Yeah, especially when like you like get up there and you're like, holy shit, I did it. And the developers were like, somebody's going to do this, and we're going to have this cool little treat up here that you don't see at first. You know, they're not trying to goad you into it. It's like, here, like you have this obstacle in front of you. You want to go explore it. You want to go see it. And we had the forethought that somebody may do this. So we're going to have this little thing. It's nothing crazy. Like, it could be just 6 blood vials and just move on.
Right. I think so. Which you may have not experienced it. You probably not, because I don't know enough about it to say like if Yarnum specifically, like Central Yarnum area, has anything really like, holy shit, this is good.
Right. I think you said there may have been like some armor that like, or whatever.
There's definitely armor that you didn't get.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there's nothing like too crazy. But definitely, so like later on, you'll end up, you know, doing some stuff, and it'll be like, you know how they put like a barrel, and there'll be like, you can definitely see the item, and you're like, okay, I'll walk over there and grab it. Yeah, and it's just like a like meh hidden item like over here or whatever. It's not like you have to pick this up or whatever. Like definitely later on in the game, you will pick up stuff that way, and just like, you may pass it 1,000 times and be like, it's probably fucking pebbles or something dumb, and you pick it up and you're like, dear God, like, what the fuck? Because it's like a badass weapon, or like something like that. Like it almost seems, other than things that have stuff to do with the lore, it almost seems random. So again, I think it's in the spirit of the high risk, high reward of like, you do a lot of shit and you get up here, you risked doing all that thing and achieved nothing. You got pebbles, or you went and did this and you got fucking shit all for it. And then other times you will do that and it's like, I got a weapon that only like 0.2% of players get because everybody else was like, no, I ain't doing that, or whatever. So it's very like random.
In that case, it discourages people from, again, exploring the world that you spent hours and millions on.
Yeah, I think later
you are actively discouraging your player base, which again, that is piss poor.
I feel like personally, like knowing you, I think you'll, like, if we like after a couple bosses, you'll change that opinion, only to be like your interest is so peaked. You're like, I have to fucking pick up everything now because I picked up two things that changed. Usually. You ran past.
No,
well, yeah, it's hard to see.
Like I'm saying, other games, like you could probably go back in some of the episodes of like Paper Mario or whatever I played, like, and I'm constantly like backtracking through shit. It's probably boring as hell, but because
you're normally completionist kind of a
it depends on the game that I'm playing. Where like I will like actively pursue this and like try to get everything, you know, and then eventually at one point there's gonna be this brick wall, and I'm just gonna get defeated and be like, fuck this. I'm gonna go beat Bowser now or whatever.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
because it definitely I can understand that coming straight into it, not knowing that that's an aspect, because I think that was one of the things again, like when I played Bloodborne, like I was gonna go get everything because I knew like there may only be a 20% chance that thing was worth a shit getting, but if that 20% hit, I was about to be king of fucking Yarnum.
My Yarnum now.
Yeah, it's always like it always seemed like worth it, and then they're in my opinion they're very addicting, so you end up playing it again and you're like, that's the Pebble Room, no. Like not going in there or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure like once you get to like if I played this again or whatever, I'll just be like, yep, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So okay, well, so on the topic of like maps and the way that they're portraying stuff, like overall graphically, I mean, keep in mind it is a 2015 PS4 game, but
the only thing that I have against it, like, I mean, developers did what they could with the tech at the time and the hardware at the time, you know, which they did a good job at. It's just, again, the design of, again, like the textures in certain spots, like going back to like the crows, where like it just looks like a damn oil puddle on the ground and you have no idea what it is, and the lack of visibility of things. Just like, again, like the switches, not just walking right past it, not even seeing shit, like blends in too well, and the ladders, like, again, you don't see it.
Yeah, because of like the lighting and
I can't really pinpoint what it is, but it's just like, this is annoying. You know, again, how I was saying that the game doesn't have to hold your hand or coddle you or tell you here or anything like that. You can use visual representation to make your eye guide to a spot or whatever, and it doesn't have to be like, again, like ladder or anything like that. It's just they can design it just where your eye floats and you're like, wait, hang on. Okay, that over there.
And they definitely don't do that.
Yeah. And
I will admit that.
And a game that doesn't really hold your hand, again, like Breath of the Wild, where like it's just kind of give you like the little tutorial level on the plateau and then whatever. They do a fantastic job of just in the wilderness and just wherever you are, they'll design the environment, which is just rocks or whatever, to help point your eye at things without blatantly going. I mean, they do sometimes, like with like the Korok seeds or whatever, but like other things, is like you can look and go like, okay, I need to go this way. Something may be over there.
Yeah.
And if they just did that, like just a little bit more effort, you know, like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because they definitely, I know, I want to say that we talked about it in an episode. There's definitely not a color difference or like a lighting difference in interactable items, like for example the doors that you can go talk to.
Yeah,
like
that's
people,
fine. Like I'm okay with
they'll
that.
have they'll have like a lantern that again, like you could. I think I went through my first playthrough, and when I found out like, yeah, you can save people, I was like, how? What people?
Like what?
You know, like where
there's
are
NPCs?
They?
Win.
Exactly, but the like for the switches and the ladders and stuff, they're not a different color, or like what things are breakable versus things that aren't, really don't have like a shaded difference, like in most games where you can like walk in and be like, wonder where the switch is, like like which one of these bricks is different.
It's like watching cartoons and you're like, he's about to fall through that little hole right there because that one square is colored differently.
Yeah, like video games do that. They definitely do that. And this one does not do that, because that is a thing.
And I mean, and I'm completely okay with the not hand holding. I really am. It's just whenever you're not hand holding and then you're not conveying information to the player about your game in the game without the hand holding, like it's just like, fuck you. Like you have all this hype built around this thing for how hard it is, which I'm fine with hard shit.
Right.
But if all it is hard shit, and that's all you're known for is the bosses are just like, oh my god, they're so fucking hard, then fuck your game at that point. Like why don't we just have a boss rush at that point? Like,
thank you, Sekiro, for boss rush. Please add more boss rush to everything. All games need a boss rush.
Yeah, like it's just like fuck Yarnum, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Just give me the cleric piece and gallbladder and let's go.
Yeah, I fought with a ladder for 20 minutes.
Or put me in a fucking arena and like I get fed like fishmen or whatever the hell they are, and then like maybe like a round of crows. Like maybe I have like it's like heats or whatever. We're like boom, 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 and once you get to like level 5 of the heat, like oh, there's cleric beast, and then you got to like grind up higher, and then gallbladder, and now we've beaten level 1 old Yarnum.
Yeah.
Like fuck your world at that point.
I mean, as a thing, just because we're not, I don't think we're planning on doing any of them for the show or anything. But once you beat the game, that's what Chalice Dungeons are. It's a short little map.
Yeah. You go right
like
Hunter's Dream or whatever.
Yeah, you go from like one end to the other, pull a lever, it opens up a door. Then you go where that door was. You go through it, and then you fight a boss, and there'll be like little doodads, like different kind of guys in there. But I think
at that point, why wasn't that the main game? Like at least where I'm at now.
People no shit beat it to get that stuff only to do Chalice Dungeons. Because those Chalice, I think there's 2,500 different versions. There's 25 different like variables that can happen within the Chalice Dungeon.
Okay.
So, or like how far down it goes.
Got it.
Because you can just keep like bam, 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 and keep going down. And I want to say there is an actual bottom, but it's very far down, and the weapons that you get in there are different. So a lot of people were like, oh wait, I can get different rolls on weapons. Like I'm done with the regular fuck old Yarnum. I'm going to Chalice Dungeons because they have like a lot different stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so in the talking about the graphics and stuff like that leads me into more of the like enemy design, because we talked about level design and stuff like that. Like how do you feel about like their overall look and just like the way that it works with the game? Right.
That's my opinion. Fuck
yeah, that's fair. I don't know that there's anyone that's like, that's my favorite
it's like character, my favorite bad guy ever.
General consensus right there. But like the way they look and like overall, like just the enemies, you know?
Oh yeah, no, fantastic. Like Cleric Beast was very good portraying the menacing aspect of it, like, making you feel tiny.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the things I kind of forgot to talk about was with the Cleric Beast, like the battle itself. Well, I guess we could hold that for a little bit later, but like, great job conveying that. The fatties are hilarious looking. The physics are hilarious, even though I'm not gonna get mad at that.
Like, they're ragdolls.
That's awesome. The time. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But just like each character that you come across so far in old Yarnum, wherever we're at, New Yarnum, I don't know. Yarnum.
Old Yarnum is the with the gun. The dude that had the Gatling gun. You start in Central.
Yeah. They don't know I'm there yet.
Central Yarnum.
But like, I can't figure out what's wrong with them. I just know they're fucked up, you know, which I'm sure was probably part of it, you know, to give you the mystique of the atmosphere and everything. And granted, I'm not paying attention to a damn thing about the story, you know, so like, I can't tell if they're werewolves or if they're vampires or if they're zombies. All I know is that they're some sort of monstoid, you know.
Yeah, like mad. They might have said something in that. Fuck, I've skipped that thing so many times. They may have said something at the very beginning, because at the beginning, what we skipped, a dude asks you if you want to join the hunt. Like, you're volunteering to join the hunt. He does a transfusion, I believe. He does a blood transfusion. During that transfusion, the messengers, the little weird looking
little like
dudes,
skeleton guys coming out of the ground.
Yeah, like they start to like crawl onto you, and then at some point a lycanthrope like gets onto the table,
which is where it started the game.
Yeah, like and then
I hit that lycanthrope first.
Yeah, like he's coming up on the table, and then you wake up into the hunt. And I think they might have talked about it in there of like a, or maybe in the trailer or something. It's like a bloodborne illness.
God, oh, okay.
Turning people into beasts. That's why they transition and they have like a like kind of deeper growl.
Yeah. But
that's all I know about that.
Yeah,
though. I don't actually. I didn't.
Yeah, we forgot to say this in the last episode. I don't know a damn thing about the story at all. We just said screw that because he was telling me, a lot of people are just like, no, I'm just here to beat the baddies.
Yeah,
that's all we're here for. And so I was just kind of all port that,
I Google lore after personally.
Yeah, so I don't have an opinion either way about the story at all. It's just I'm just going through and just killing baddies as far as I'm concerned. But
those baddies look good, right?
Yeah, the lycanthrope looks awesome. The wolves kind of look dumb, like the ones that are in the cages. I'm trying to.
Oh, the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs. So
yeah.
They just look stupid a little bit. I can't put my finger on what character they look like, but they kind of remind me of a cartoon character.
I think they're supposed to be like. Irish wolfhounds or like Scottish deerhounds.
Yeah, they just kind of look like they're mangy or whatever.
Yeah.
I understand they're trying to convey like other kind of bloodborne virus or whatever, but they just look kind of dumb.
And that's fair. Yeah. They are dumb. Fuck those dogs.
The rats, like whatever, they're big ass rats.
They got the big eyes, like
yeah. I don't know what it was called, but it was down with the rats where like I jumped down into an area and like those guys with the black arms were like they came out the water and was and I got the fuck out.
Those I don't know what they're. I call them zombies. I think they are zombies. I don't know, but they're only like half the body, but they're like really long.
Yeah, the long arm boys. Yeah. Like didn't really get a quick or good look at them. Got a quick look at them, but I mean just to convey like oh shit fuck, very good job. At that little design that they had there, and Father Gallbladder like. Yes, that was solid. They never let you see his eyes at all. The only thing I think was kind of weird, but again, you're in just the middle of battle, is like you can't really decipher his like wolf form or whatever the hell it is at the final phase of the fight. Like I couldn't tell what the shit
he moves like crazy fast.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so hard to see him. Yeah, so it's just like I mean, at least when he was in his humanoid form, like that was pretty dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of for the Soulsborne series for bosses specifically. I mean, I do it for some of the other enemies too. For the Soulsborne series, though, I'll go back and look up like what they look like because they'll usually have some cool nods that you're like, I've seen that symbol or whatever in the world that fits them together. And I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like, no one will ever see this during the fight because you'll die. But we're gonna do this other, this stuff to help bring it's again very lore heavy that I think they do that for because I want to say there's stuff for him specifically, like for Father Gallbladder that it like ties in with his lore and you meet other characters that have the same type of look to them that haven't gone crazy and they're part of the same
like
jam.
A guild or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you go in there and dude's like blunderbuss and axe, you're like, I'm not looking at who made your shirt. Like
the only reason why I know what he looks like is just because of that little small little cutscene before.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you know that he's a priest.
And the most of the time that like I've actually gotten good looks at enemies was actually not while playing. It was watching our videos after the fact, because now I have like time to actually like, oh no, that's actually really cool looking.
You're not under duress.
Yeah, I'm not like fucking crows.
yeah.
God, fuck them crows. If you don't take anything away from this thing, just take away fuck them crows.
Keep your distance.
Yeah, fuck them. And I think there actually like there's another game that me and you were playing, like maybe off camera, I can't remember, but like crows again.
Oh,
fuck them crows.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Just like bats for you, like bats everywhere.
Yeah, bats are. Oh my god, I don't know why that's. Okay, well so we've talked about map design or level design. We've talked about just graphics overall and enemy design. Like, what about the way that the game plays? Like the actual mechanics of the game and your involvement within the world. Like, how does all that feel to you?
Right. So the mechanics themselves are pretty okay. Like, just like I push left, it goes left. Like when I tell it to. There's no delay really with it or anything like that. It's not as tight to me as like saying like playing Mega Man is, where like the smallest of touch and he's like and that's it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like the tightness of what Mega Man is like known for. But it's solid for what it is. The only thing that I can't,
it's not like Blaze Blue tight.
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
The like one gripe I have, which came out in the episodes leading up to the Father Gallbladder fight, was like where I'm assuming, and after the first time it happened, you're like, I'm actively trying not to have happen, or what happened, where like my character doesn't attack. That it was like an over the head attack, I think. Like he kind of like
the jump.
He would jump an overhead attack, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, the fear or whatever, you know, like you're just hitting buttons, you know, but I tried to recreate it in a controlled environment and I couldn't. And I remembered exactly the buttons that I hit, like during that fight. You know, I was pressing forward, the attack button, like the strong attack. And it's like, yeah, maybe I flick the stick down and back up or whatever. And then when I go out into a controlled environment and I try to replicate that attack, I cannot replicate that attack. So like that's the only gripe I can have like with the mechanics. It's just like you just like it until I learn it, it just seems like it has a mind of its own.
Yeah, I remember we were gonna look that up,
and we never did. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
So I mean, like, we can probably figure it out once we look it up. But at least just right now, like, whenever I'm trying every button combination that I can think of what just happened in the encounter. Was like, okay, like forward, this attack or whatever, or maybe like I accidentally like hit the sprint button or whatever.
Yeah, like it's a quick double tap
to make him jump or whatever, right? And then like I would try everything in that context, and it's just like heavy, like half heavy swing, not the full charge. Just like strong attack, you know. And I was like,
maybe the controller's fine.
And I was like, maybe I hit the weak attack, you know. And then I would try to hit the weak button, and I could never make that attack come out again. Because like I would know like, oh, I was backing up in this specific scenario, and then I went forward and did it. So like I would even like back up and try to go forward, and I cannot replicate it. So that's like the only gripe I have with the controls. Okay. And like, so like they did a very poor job of at least communicating that. And I mean, again, they're not holding my hand through it, but at least this could be like, if you take any other game, for instance, like Blaze Blue, Mortal Kombat, hell, even like a Zelda or whatever, you know, like you kind of know like double tap, run, or whatever. Like that's just a common thing in video games. So it's like, yeah, I know there's a button to run in this thing, but what if you like double tap? Will it make him like do a leap? Because sometimes that will happen, right? He'll kind of like, but when I would try to do it, it wouldn't do it. So it's like, make up your mind. What is happening here? Is it not twice? Is it 3 times?
It's like, because I know for the jump, like I think I saw a video of someone jump before I did it and was like, what the fuck? You can jump in this game? And I had to go to the move list, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I asked you, like, episode 1 if there's a jump, and you told me, like, yeah, you have to run and then tap it again.
Yeah, but there's not a move list for combos, like in, say, like Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's not a, like, doing this, and it lets you do this. It's kind of like, man, mash them together. Like, they have them, but they don't tell you. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of worried. Like, the more that you talk about it, I'm more worried that I've had this controller for a long time, so it has been dropped. It has moved through multiple states. Like, it could be bad now that you say it. Because when you're like, you know, I try to do the heavy swing, and it only does it halfway. I'm like,
well, no, I'm saying like instead of, I was just saying like instead of doing the full hold down charge, I just do the strong attack where like I just hit it, and then he's like,
oh, would it do the
Yeah, like I was going through. I was just going through every variable I could think of because like
those are expensive.
Like in Blaze Blue or like any fighting game, you know, like you could stumble upon a move, and you would know what your fingers did. You know what movements they. It's
like a half press kind of a thing or something.
Yeah, you may not know exactly what your fingers did, but you know, okay, my fingers like traversed left, down, and right, and then I hit like the A button. So it's either going to be a left, down, right A, or it's down, forward A, or maybe you. Or back down A or something.
Yeah.
And you can like reverse engineer the move after you did it.
Right. Yeah. I
cannot.
Yeah. I don't think Bloodborne's combos are that like anywhere near that complex.
Yeah.
So it might. I don't know.
I just can't reverse it. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's bad in that aspect and poorly conveying it. You know, because if I can make it happen by accident, I should be able to make it happen on purpose with the movements that my fingers just did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so like just overall, but like outside of the like the controls, like you. Well, I guess that would be the only thing. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it. So like you know, like in the fighting, other than the leap thing, does the fighting feel good or does it not feel like is it hard to judge things or something?
The depth perception is a learning curve. I will say that for sure. Especially
because of the camera.
Well, no, not necessarily that. It's just like you have to learn how big that axe is. You know. Oh yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's like the main thing for depth perception for me, at least with that. The camera, though, the camera's doo-doo garbage.
Yeah, it is.
That thing is holy shit. And I guess I can just go back to the whole idea of me like bitching about the map design. It's like all you wanted to do was just make your game hard for bosses and stuff like that, but you neglected every other aspect of this game. Like that is dog shit. Like Mario 64 did a better job at handling a 3D camera than that garbage, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And I understand, like you were talking to me once about, you know, like they're trying to give you the perception of like claustrophobia and you're stuck or whatever. That's cool and all fine and dandy until you're fighting on a bridge with the cleric beast and half the fucking screen is just, you can't see shit because it's blocked by the bridge.
Right.
You know, and I have no way of just at least like bumping the camera back, like away just like a hair, or opening the field of view just a little bit more. You know, like it saying like they're doing it for the claustrophobic reasons almost kind of feels like a cop out at that point of just their laziness.
Yeah.
Like it, out of everything that I have complained about, besides the fucking crows, this is the worst part of the game.
Is the camera.
Like that is bad.
Yeah, there's
awful.
I was watching someone stream the other day. I think she was playing Dark Souls 3 or something, and she died. And it was that, you know, like she's fighting and she gets trapped in a corner because she was dodging and didn't pay attention and got trapped in a corner.
Yeah.
And then the boss that she was fighting like zoomed up on her and she is now like this close to the boss fighting and she can't see anything. And she's just like, fuck, like goddamn Dark Souls camera got me again or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, which I get that because that we brought it up in the other one talking about how Dead Space was like super close or whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing like you play it and it's like right up on his ass.
Yeah, it's like literally like you're sitting in a backpack on this.
Yeah, you're Yoda just riding his back.
Yeah, and it's very much like that would happen to me in that game. Like, you know, you would turn around and you didn't hear him and he got too close and you need to shoot his arm off, but his face is in your face and you can't see his arms and you're like, they start panicking. I don't know if it's I get why I get why the camera's so close and I get why they do that. I almost feel that they do that kind of camera stuff a little bit to the point of like sacrificial. Like, so we're trying to convey either claustrophobia or aloneness. We don't want you to be able to look around corners and see. We want you like take the chance and do it or whatever. And they sacrifice the clarity. They sacrifice the clarity of you being able to like, okay, I can't see right now, and that's bullshit. I want to be able to pull back. Like they're sacrificing your comfortability and your ability to see to achieve that goal. And it like, you know, say running.
Wait, what do you mean like sacrificing that to achieve the goal? Like, what do you mean?
Their goal being, we don't want you to look around corners. We want you to feel claustrophobic.
Right.
Like those are the goals of the reason that they have their cameras set the way it is.
Well, let's pretend it's
and
a
it
boss
doesn't
fight.
let you. Right.
Okay, at that point, that's just artificially inflating your difficulty of the game at that point.
Well, I'm
when
saying
the game's already hard.
Like outside, so essentially they put this camera in a box, right? And you can only do these things with the camera, and by not allowing you to adjust that view, it makes you like, you know, normally when you're running through, say, Yarnum or whatever, right? Inside that box, it doesn't feel that bad. Like, there's times when you wish it was better, but overall, you're like, all right, you know, this is just normal. But when it comes to, like, boss fights and things like that, like, you naturally want to be able to break apart that box and do other things for the sake of the gameplay, whereas I think that's what they sacrificed for that. I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing. That fucking camera's killed me a lot too. And I'm upset about it. I think they put that there to be like, this is the confines of what you can actually see, and I don't care what situation you're in. This is the confines of what you can see. So if like the girl who was streaming, or like you on the bridge or whatever, like if you backed yourself up and got stuck in this thing, I don't fucking care. And it does. I think it does artificially. I would agree. It does artificially make the game harder whenever you can't see around that stuff. The only thing I can kind of agree with them with a little bit is if you take it back to, you know, whether this is the game's fault or my fault, like once you relax and just accept the box and
Be one with the box.
Yeah, once you just accept the confines, like it does get a little bit, the idea gets a little easier to where you're like, I'm not going over there because the camera's going to fuck me.
Right.
And so now you learn to move around the reality, but it is kind of shit.
Yeah, that's
it is
bad.
super
It's like,
shit.
no, you shouldn't do that. Like they did it, like with the cleric beast specifically, let's say they did a good job of conveying the claustrophobicness by just the bridge.
Right.
Which was great. Like that was cool. It's like, nah, dog, like he takes up like 90% of that bridge. You know, that's great. You don't have to have the fucking camera right here to try to help convey this situation to me. You know, like you could have had that camera a football field away, and I would have been like, son of a bitch, I can't get around him. You know,
Right.
and even seeing the whole playing field happen. You know, like the camera's poor. They fucked that up. Bottom line, like that is like the worst thing, and I have a feeling that throughout the rest of this game, that's gonna be my biggest bitch about
Probably. There's other like
I could be like, man, this was amazing, you know, like it's just being conveyed to me now, but fuck the camera and fuck them crows.
Yeah, like it definitely will come up. There are other bosses. You remember the pro tip that is like, always get under the legs, like get in the gooch.
Yeah.
That's where bosses are weak. Like big bosses, like that is a thing, and I swear, like always, like especially on them furry things, dude. You're gonna, anything that has fur on it, like the cleric beast or whatever, once you get up underneath there, it's just hair, and you're like, where's the leg? What's going on? Like like where am I in reference to the room? Because it's just hair.
Yeah.
So it is definitely going to come up. Trust me.
Because like even like with the Father Gasciogne fight, like I guess we kind of move on to the bosses themselves, since that's kind of like the bread and the butter of this game.
Yeah.
Like you're in a cemetery, you know, and the tombstones are stupid.
Oh yeah.
We kind of didn't talk about it, but just like the environment itself is kind of bad in the game. Like shit that can break, shit that can't break, or whatever, and that becomes very apparent in the Father Gasciogne fight. Like I was praying for him to turn into the beast, so that I could just kind of like walk around and have the beast just clear up the battlefield for me.
Yeah.
But like that area, again, did a great job of like confining you. Even though there was that staircase that you told me about that didn't go up, but it's like there was definitive parts of the map that you could see, that you could make out very easily. Like you had the outer wall that was basically covered in tombstones, you know, and it's like, kind of don't go there because you're going to get fucked. You're going to get backed into the wall, and now you're surrounded by either like a tree or a tombstone, and hopefully he breaks it, you know, and that was your fault for walking out that far. Understandable. And then you kind of had like a ring inside of it that was open, right? Followed by another little ring of like tombstones in it, like maybe like a tree or two, followed by one more little inner ring with that mausoleum thing or whatever.
Yeah, there's like a statue.
Yeah. And it was small and confined. And it was like, okay, you have 2 circles, like basically to operate in. 3 of them are death circles. You know, like you step into this, you may want to get out of it really quick. That was fine. That was great. It's just there was too many fucking tombstones.
A lot of people die there.
Like oh, tombstone. I want to move. Oh, another tombstone. Shit. You know, it was almost like they wanted you to just like, no, you pick that plane, like that inner circle, which I think is what I did in the last, like when I beat him. I just stayed in that inner circle around that mausoleum, and I like kited him basically around and around and around until he died.
Yeah, see, I did the wide one.
See, yeah. And, which, I mean, hey, it's cool. You know, like you still have to deal with the moveset he's presenting to you and the randomness of it and everything, but it's just kind of like, if everybody's just going to just make a kite train around the guy, it's like, why have all this other stuff once you realize that it's just a kite train, you know, and not like an actual battlefield? Where like I could use the environment to advantage, like how at one point with the middle mausoleum, I was like trying to keep him on the one side of it, and I'll stay on this, and then charge it up as he walked around.
Yeah,
you know, like that's like a good design. Whereas like you're using the environment to your advantage or whatever, and the tombstones and shit. Like, really? They're just landmines.
Yeah, I think that I honestly think it's because I did the same thing. Like got him stuck. I don't think. You know, I don't do that like every time, but I at one point I have done that, like got him stuck behind some stuff. Be like, oh, don't move. What am I gonna do? You know, kind of a thing, and try to use it to think or formulate a plan or whatever. I almost feel like, because I hate that fight. I hate that fight. I think the tombstones are like little, like you said, they're landmines. They're just there to be like, you can get him stuck on stuff, and you can operate in this circle, but you can also get stuck. So deal with that. Like, I don't know. I hate that fight. He was. I don't know why I hate that fight.
Yeah, he didn't. You're messing up the camera.
Sorry.
It wasn't too bad for me personally. Like the cleric piece was way harder,
really?
But I think it was just because I figured out the kiting a lot quicker in the Father Gasciogne fight.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whenever you could not necessarily like cheese the cleric piece like that, since he's 90% of the bridge.
Okay.
You know,
well,
so that could have been why it was a tad bit easier.
Yeah. Okay.
But the camera, though, again, in that fight, like.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that will be a recurring theme in these as we continue on in the series.
But yeah, my favorite part, though, that whole thing, though, was the moment he turned to that wolf, because it was just like, oh, fighting myself. Like there's like a lot of them like you, and then he's just like, and fuck you, you know.
Yeah. It like changes the
pace is immediately quick, like quickened, fastened up, or everything like that, and you're like, oh, gotta move now. I gotta get. Yeah, it was a very good change of pace, like a very good rhythm to the fight, if you will. You know, it was like, instead of just being like, oh, now my attacks are just stronger and I'm madder. You know, it's more like, okay, here we are, like kind of quick. I'm putting my shit together. Or no, yeah, put my shit together now. Like that's the kind of like the I'm stronger. And then instead of being like, I'm even stronger now, it's like, no, I am stronger, but now I'm really fucking quick.
Right, and the moveset changes. Stuff like
I'm no longer using an axe. Like I'm getting in your face.
And you have to adjust to the new moveset.
It was a very appropriate change of pace.
Okay.
Rhythm. Yeah.
Well, okay, so coming off of the talking about like bosses and stuff like that, how do you feel about the overall difficulty of the game? Because Soulsborne games are notoriously difficult.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And that's like the main thing that I've heard about the game, besides the bonfire that I was severely disappointed with.
Yeah.
The overall difficulty, at least personally to me, it's not that bad. And I blame that partially on just how I play games. Like, I get a brand new game, I immediately put on the hardest difficulty, because if you do that, you don't know anything easier. Right. So, like, hard difficulty is easy. So I'm just kind of used to already playing video games
like
hard.
Really challenging yourself.
Yeah. Especially, like, I'm sure a lot of other people our age, like millennials, like in their 30s, like, they grew up on the early consoles, like even I still had access to NES. Like, that was my first console, and those games are notorious for being brutal to you, and we grew up playing those notoriously brutal games. And I can still remember there's a period of time in video game history where like specifically, like, here's a good example, BioShock, the first one. BioShock was great game, great aesthetic, great difficulty, everything. And then you get to the boss fight and it's just push.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what, dude? Like, a Big Daddy's harder than this, Like, I wanted, what was his name? Like, Andrew or whatever. Like, I wanted to murder that man. And it was just nothing, Like,
yeah, it was like anticlimactic.
Yeah, very anticlimactic. So whenever hearing about the Soulsborne game series, it's like, oh, fuck yeah. We're kind of bringing it back to the roots of video games and the difficulty,
And there's only one. There's no changing the difficulty on it, which was an older thing.
Sometimes you could change it. It would be like normal or hard. It wasn't like baby mode, or I don't think like baby mode and stuff like it appeared until like Wolfenstein or whatever, where like you had like a big difficulty setting.
Leap.
It was either 2 or the 1.
Yeah.
The hardest thing about the game is just simply the learning curve. Especially coming into it, never have played one before, just understanding the controls, the distance that's there, and learning the moves or whatever. Like, it's like with Father Gasciogne, like, they did a very good job of conveying his moveset to you. Which, like, in any game, usually, like, the boss is like, okay, we have like this set move set. You have to learn the set move set so that you can learn to operate around set move set or whatever. And they did a very, very good job of conveying that to you. Where it's like, okay, we're going to get punished, and if you don't move, you're going to get punished. Or if there's damn tombstones in your way, you're going to get punished. Or the damn camera screws, you're going to get punished.
Right.
So, like, I personally, not that bad. It's like a medium difficulty.
Yep.
But I'm sure since I'm at the beginning of this game, like, like a few journals from now, we're like, Broham.
Yeah.
Let me take that back. Like, I can see this coming in my future. This is just at the moment. Or I just get a lot better at this game. I have no idea.
Yeah. I know for, like, I don't know, but, like, having played a bunch of Soulsborne games, like, because I'm a big Soulsborne fan. Just in general, there's definitely times when I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. Why did they do this? It's like too hard for whatever reason. But
like, I don't mind the too hard as long as like you die reasonably or whatever. Like, it was your fault, you messed up.
Yeah, well, at times I would feel like it wasn't mine. Like, this is just ridiculous. But after a while of like, taking some time away and then coming back or whatever, I would either find out that it was in fact my fault, or that I wasn't really understanding what it is that was like essential, like for like Bloodborne. It's very much movement based. Everybody has these quick movements. They want you to dodge. They want you to do these types of things. Or like with Sekiro, it's very much about the parry. And I can't do. I was terrible at that the first time I played through. I couldn't do that. But coming back to it, whenever I was like, I'm learning this fucking thing. And once I learned it, changed my life. Like, the thing that I thought was so difficult before was now like not insurmountable. I could actually deal with that thing. And so I think that a lot of people did kind of inflate the difficulty. They are difficult games.
Yeah.
But it's not Ghosts and Ghouls difficult. It's just it's inflated because
brutal.
Because of how it is. It's easily punished. Like, they punish you all the time if you don't follow the rules.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it got that kind of feel.
And especially like us growing up, like like Ghosts and Ghouls, for instance, or whatever, like, your death was very undeserving. a lot of the times, you know.
Right.
And we're so used to like just getting shat on, where whenever you play a video game like Bloodborne, that like when you die, it is very deserving. You did something wrong.
Right.
It's a nice breath
greedy or something.
It's a nice breath of fresh air. And that's nothing to take away from the game, where like I'm saying it's medium difficulty. Like it's fucking fantastic to have a video game like this again, where like, yes, it's challenging and everything that happens, like it happens for a reason, unless the camera fucked you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I can't overstate how happy I am to play one of these games finally, to experience this again, or whatever. Like playing the first Zelda or whatever, where it's like, God damn it, you know?
Right.
And then finally getting the like satisfaction of overcoming it. When there was a long lull, like even still to this day, with like video games that are coming out and everything like that, where it's like, I'm not too excited about any games coming out, you know, and going back and playing this is good, because since I never played it, so it's like bringing in new light into it, you know, because like, I mean, are you excited for any new games coming out? I mean, this is like being recorded, you know, like mid-March-ish or something like that. Like something you're like, oh yeah, like I cannot wait.
Elden Ring, but that game is a fucking myth.
Yeah, and I can't even think of anything at the moment. Like the last time I was excited was last year with Doom and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I want to say that there was... Oh, no, actually, okay, there is one that I won't play. And I say that because I don't have the console.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm pretty sure
I'm super excited, but I'm not going to play that shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a PS5 exclusive, and I don't have a PS5. It's like, from what I can tell, like a Soulsborne game. It's a hand-to-hand combat game, because they had one hand-to-hand combat game that was super dope. I don't remember what it was called, Absolver or something like that. It came right around after the time of For Honor. But this is the way the trailer was, you started off in a dojo, and there's like this hall, like you open the door and there's this hallway of just dudes, and they're all like just standing there, and you walk up the hallway beating every motherfucker down, just like hand to hand, like just kung fuing them up, and it's dope looking. And then the dude gets like shanked, I think, in the middle of the hallway. Like some other guy comes up and shanks him, and he dies. And then he wakes up back in the dojo, but he's a little bit older, and he's now got a beard. And then he opens the door, and the guys are back out there, boom, boom, and then he just like going back through the hallway, but he's doing it a little bit better this time. I saw that and was like, fucking yes, that's what I want. Like, they need more games like this. But I want to play it. I'm hoping that it is that kind of like, we don't have a difficulty setting. It's just difficult, because one of the things that I do like about the difficulty setting, even though personally, like, it's not hard for me now, but is the thing, I want to say that we talked to Gary about it, where it puts everybody on the same level. Right. No one can say, oh, I fought, Father Gallbladder, he was super easy. And you're like, oh, really? Dude, I had a tough time. And they're like, yeah, but what are you playing on? Like, oh, I'm playing on hard. Like, oh, no, I played it on easy. And now there's a separation between the player base.
Yeah. It's just, how did you solve the problem?
Exactly.
And
like,
you came to a different conclusion than I did.
Yeah. Deal with the puzzle. How did it happen?
Which is great. Like, that's how, it's at least certain games, like, that's how they should be developed. You know, like, to where, like, you have different users have different experiences, and they can at least come together and talk about, like, their different experiences with the game, and like how they solved that puzzle or whatever. Because how you solved like 1 + 1 = 2 may be different from how I did, even though there's only one way, but whatever.
yeah. Like, there's I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't create like this division within us.
Or like, oh man, you're not a true gamer unless you're playing on hard difficulty, even though you're just a casual guy that just like, man, I'm here for the story.
I just want to have fun with my life. Like, chill out.
I want to play Wolfenstein on the easiest setting and just kill him, like just kill everything and feel like a badass the whole time.
Right. I enjoy no clip mode.
Yeah. I distinctly remember playing like Doom and Duke Nukem back in the day with God mode on, just like, I don't care. This is great.
Yeah.
This is an amazing experience.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what about the like RPG elements
of
the game? Oh, I thought you were thinking Beavers. I was
No. From Software, whoever made the game, the developer.
Yeah.
How I play RPGs is like, I normally, like, it's hard to do it with this one because you get punished for dying by losing, like, your experience points, you know, kind of like how Zelda 2 was, where you die, you lost your XP, and now you're like, damn it, you know.
Right.
But normally, like, whenever I play, I kind of like hoard up the XP and then dump it or whatever, kind of like how you're saying, like, what's the risk reward to you? Do you want to, like, wait till you have, like, 15,000 blood charge and just go in or whatever?
Right.
I normally try to, like if I'm like in like a certain, let's say I was in like Yarnum or whatever, you know, like my goal would be to basically get through all of Yarnum and get to the next level and then level up or whatever. That's normally kind of like how I go through shit like that. Or like a section, like I got to complete like if we're in this room or this like building, you know, area of it, like I got to complete this first and then I'll go do that. So I can't necessarily do that, but this is how I play RPGs, like how it's created. It's nothing convoluted. Where like you have like 50 different skill tree branches, you know, or you're like click this, click that, you do blah 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 blah, and you're just like, man, I have so many fucking options here. Like
a lot of different menus.
I have to read so much, and I'm here to play the game.
Yeah.
I'm not here to fucking read like the move set and like what buffs I'm gonna get.
They make up a weird thing like this is called the Shinra, and you can do like this and this with it, and you're like, I'm never gonna use that.
Yeah, or like they're like, this is the Shinra, it does this, and below it they have like a fucking little blurb about like the lore of like whatever it is. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, like let me dump my points.
Like, how do I become a glass cannon? Give me that. I want to be the glass cannon.
Right. Yeah.
But this, no, it's just like, okay, here's your strength, vitality, dexterity, you know, like your handful of like main attributes that anybody has ever played D&D or any tabletop. They're like, okay.
Right.
And it's like, okay, do you want to up that one up or up the other one up? Pick your route of what you think you need with your play style and go that way. You know, like, okay, you just want to be able to take every hit that you can. Cool, dump it on vitality. You know, you want to be a quick little motherfucker that can evade everything or whatever. Cool, get dex. Like, whatever.
Right.
So I'm so happy it's nothing convoluted. And then the only other aspect for the leveling is the weapon leveling.
Yeah.
And again, that's not convoluted. It's like, you just want to make it stronger. Cool, hit the button.
Yeah.
Do you want to make the gun stronger? Cool, hit the button.
Like there's another thing. I don't remember if I don't think we've gotten to that. There's another thing that you can also get later on that affects your stuff like that. And to be honest, I don't think that I did that my first playthrough.
Is it permanent or just like?
No, it's a thing. Well, you can like swap it out, sort of like.
Okay. Yeah, like
sort of like the gems in the weapon.
Yeah. Which again, I don't think they have seen that yet, but. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like there's a
slots or whatever.
Huh?
The 3 slots, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so there's another thing that comes in later on that you can do with it, and I didn't do that. Just because I was like, I just didn't pay attention to it or whatever, and didn't do that thing. But it wasn't necessarily like, it's not necessary for you to do it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just like the items, like.
Yeah.
Like I use the mollies because you're like, hey, the beasts are like weak to flame, so just like help you out. Maybe just do that because normally in games, again, I don't use items.
Yeah.
Even there's been countless times where I'll be going through a video game, like an RPG or whatever, and then finally I'm like, screw it, I'll click this one item, and then I'm like, why haven't I been doing this the whole fucking time?
Right.
But I don't know what it is. Like the only time like I can say like I use items like Pokemon, I use revives and heals. Like that's like the most item usage I've really ever used in the game.
Yeah.
If it's not a heal, like I just don't use it.
Like you'll probably end up using like poison stuff in here, but past that, I don't really think that there's a whole lot of crazy things that you get into. Molotovs are just funny because they explode in people's face, like just like no.
Yeah, and like I think you're talking like the pebble, like you throw it and they just like get distracted or whatever. You know, it's like I don't see any.
Yeah, you can.
I'd
do
rather
like,
just run in and just beat his ass.
Some people do the sneaky thing, and it's a jam. I don't know. or like to get around stuff that they can't fight.
Yeah, I guess like the only other game I've kind of used items would be like the new Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, but that's more food.
Yeah, that's a little different.
But that's like as close to like constantly using. Again, it's health though, but some of the health has perks. But whatever,
yeah, I see that.
Otherwise, it's just like, no, we're just gonna kind of like BJ Blazkowicz this and just bust in there and, destroy whatever's inside of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or solve this puzzle. I'm not too busy about sneaky. Unless I'm playing Deus Ex, because that whole game was just sneaky.
Yeah. Okay, how do you feel about the story of the game?
All I know is that there's people behind doors that blow raspberries at you. I'm fighting in your direction.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I said this in the last episode, but for all the hype that I've heard about Soulsborne games, not one thing was the story is amazing. It's the gameplay is awesome. So I just I don't give a shit about the story. I'm sure. Like if I go back when I'm done with this, go look at some lore stuff. Like, this is really cool. This is dope, But no, I get tied again to like BJ Blazkowicz and Wolfenstein. It's just like, no, you're here for one thing and one thing only. Yeah,
there's they definitely do not. I'm not sure. It's definitely a conscious decision. I just don't know
what avoiding the story.
Yeah. It's a conscious decision. I can't necessarily know. I don't know what brought them to that decision. Or not.
Bad story.
100% not.
Okay.
Their stories are fucking awesome. They're amazing. Like, I never really got into Bloodborne's too much, but Dark Souls and Sekiro's, oh my god. Well, no, I take that back. I've watched some Bloodborne stuff, and theirs is really good too. And it's an awesome story. Like, these people have like really in-depth lores behind them, and it is all in the game. Like, it's all there.
Yeah, I mean, how else did they figure that out?
Yeah, it's just not
took the time to do it.
Yeah, it's just not given to you. It's not handed to you, and they don't stop your progression to be like, sit down, let me tell you. They don't Deckard Cain this, but like they
stay a while.
Yeah, it is all there if you take the time to look around and read because every item has a description, even the pebbles. It's a fucking rock. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
But it
I don't care. I'm just gonna throw the thing.
Exactly, but it has a description. So their stories are definitely they're very deep and really good. I just don't know. I don't know like why they choose not to do that, because I didn't know any of this for a long time. Like, same way, went through, played the game, game's dope. Went through, played the game, game's dope. Like, that's all it was. And then one day I was like, that boss is kind of cool. I wonder what's going on with that guy. And then you just get like sucked in. You're like, what the what?
I did not see this.
That dude's married?
He has kids?
Yeah, dude. You meet his wife. Like, what? Like, kind of a thing. And so it's there, but they definitely, oh my God, there's so many people that are like, I don't know.
Kill the shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the boat I'm in right now. Like, especially since
it's just both like everybody.
Yeah. Especially since it's not like, again, I'll just keep going with the Wolfenstein thing. Like I haven't noticed it at least yet. I mean, it could be just because I'm skipping shit or whatever. But, like you beat something, you get like a quick little cutscene, like story, not that long or whatever, but you know what's happening. He's trying to defeat the Germans, So you just kind of like, oh, we're here now. Oh, that happened. Cool. Move on. There's none of that happening in here. Like the one cutscene I've had so far was just gallbladder, like, I'm about to kill you.
Yeah.
Menacing her.
And I think there's only...
And real quick, we can tie it back around to bad level design and stuff like that or whatever. Like how you're saying, like, all this cool lore is there. Where like, okay, if you're actually sucked into that actually gives you a reason to go explore. So you can find the lore. And the lore to you may be that awesome reward that you get.
Well, I see, okay. And that's where it would get weird, because you may find, right, you go do this ridiculous thing. Like, go around hard bosses or whatever, get on top of a ledge that you could have fallen off and died and lost all your shit to get this crap item. Like this super shit item. But the lore is on that item.
Right.
Like, that's everything is tied to that. And I don't know if they thought more people would be into it or not, because I'm 100% into it. I think it's awesome. I don't read those items on my own. I wait till other people do it
and make cool YouTube videos
and they like consolidate them. Like, yo, we made this chart. Here it is. I'm like, thank you, because I don't want to do all that.
Again, that goes back to what I was saying, that like if you wanted people to come check your cool shit out, maybe you should have had a cool reward to go with it.
And I don't know if
that's putting a shit item with badass lore. It's like an oxymoron. Like, why the fuck would I go get that thing, man?
I don't. That's the thing. I don't know, and I don't think that it's necessarily that they were worried about like this. Like he wrote like that story. Again, the stories for these things are phenomenally good. I don't think that they wanted it to get in the way of the game. Only like in the way of the gameplay, because there's only there's only like with the cutscene that you've seen, the only ones I can remember off the top of my head is there's maybe 4, and they're all just like the Father Gasciogne one. They give you a little tidbit and then you're in it, and that's it.
They're just introducing the boss basically, and here we go.
Yep, and that's not for every boss. It's just for certain ones, and I think there's one other one. Past that, nothing. There's no, and because they didn't want it to be like cutscene the game,
right,
or whatever,
which
like,
is very prone these days. Is cutscene the fucking game?
Exactly. Like, we want to give you this exposition. Like, bitch, write a book. Like, move on.
Yeah, like Sword of the Necromancer.
Exactly.
Like, prime example.
Yes, but there is a book. There's a whole book here. Like, they branched off comic books on this thing because it was so in depth.
Bitch, write a book. They did.
Yeah, but they were like, well, I don't want you to watch this cutscene and be bored before you get the fight. Like, you were pumped and you were scared getting into it and you were unsure if you would win it. And I don't want you to watch this cutscene and be like, oh my god, just let me die. Like, they wanted you to get in there and be like, now I'm a little more scared, or like, okay,
yeah,
like
hype yourself up. Package, yeah,
right.
Like before a boxing fight or wrestling match, like here's the hype package, go.
Yeah, and I think they use it to symbolize a change in the world. Like, they all do a thing, but they definitely are not like, hey, I wrote a cool story, you want to read it? Like, you don't have like, no, I don't, and you don't have to feel bad about that.
Unless I'm playing a game that like the story's like involved,
pivotal,
pivotal,
right?
Like think of like a Zelda or whatever, you know, or a JRPG or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, Final Fantasy, you know, like that's ingrained into the thing.
Yeah,
you're here for that.
It's 100% not, and I don't know if it's because of there's the replay value or what. I don't know. It's like, I have no idea how they did that decision. I'm happy. Yeah. Please keep doing that.
Yeah. Sorry, people though that enjoy the story. I don't give a shit right now.
It's dope.
I'm just here to kill the monsters.
Right. Well, after this, dude, after we're done with this playthrough, like, I'll show you videos and you'll be like, what the fuck? Like, it's awesome. Like, it's a little bit more appreciative of just how stories are told in games in general. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like it so much, because I'm like, fucking, I want this more. Like, don't show me cutscenes, put it in some crap, and if I want to, somebody can start a YouTube career and make money doing it and be good. Like, that's what I want. Like, I'll do it on my own time, don't do your thing on my time. I prefer it. Oh my God.
Hey, yeah. I mean, again, it all depends on the game that you're doing, the style of it, and Bloodborne, it's one of those games like, no, you're not here for story, you're here for ass beating.
Yeah, you're here to stab dogs.
That is it. And fuck them crows.
Yeah. So, okay, well, just about that, like, what do you think about the music, real quick?
Yeah, I know. This should be like my bread and butter for this, but
yeah, 'cause you're a music dude.
Yeah, went to school for it and everything, but it could just be because of how we're playing it, which is probably 100% why. With the headphones on and we're talking to each other, it's kind of hard for me to hear at least the music that's happening, even though like 90% of the day I'm actively listening and I can hear things constantly. To me, at least at the moment, with how I'm experiencing the game, like for a YouTube channel, it kind of seems lacking in a way, where like they're not using the music to accent what is happening on screen or whatever, like or like it's not matching. Let me put it that way. Like, I remember you saying like there's like nothingness, but it was to convey like to help the loneliness or whatever of it, kind of thing. But like even with like the cleric beast fight, you had the choir come in, like, or whatever, but it didn't helped contrast it to me. You know, like the ha ha ha, ha still felt like the world of Bloodborne. You know, this crazy choir thing. There just wasn't like enough juxtaposition to help, like, okay, we're here and now we're here, so we're gonna amp it up for you or whatever. Have a contrast to where it's so stark, you're like, oh shit, you know, with it. Same with the gallbladder fight. Like I can't even tell you there's music in the gallbladder fight, in all honesty, right now. But that could have been because I'm like, you know, the whole time.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, and I mean, I can hear the stuff in these headphones. It's not that loud, but we can hear it. And if I can't hear it, it's still kind of like a knock on the music itself, where like it's not changing enough or amping the situation up enough to make it like, yes. Like, just think of Mick Gordon in Doom. You know, like, once you get into a kill room or you're fighting a boss, you fucking know. Yeah. You know. And it helps, like, specifically with the style of game that Doom is. Like, you're like, yeah, you know, whenever in here, it should make you scared more. Like, that choir, like, it's just like, like Carmina Burana. Like, I don't care. You should be striking fear into me right now with this giant beast or, you know, Father Gasciogne. You're not trying to convey the emotion of, like, I'm a badass motherfucker trying to kill all the demons of hell right now. Yeah. I need to be scared shitless right now. And you aren't conveying that. Like, and that's what I'm saying, like, the juxtaposition, right? Like, whenever I'm just walking around, it should be like one feeling, you know, and whenever I get to Gasciogne or I get to the cleric beast, it should change the mood. Where it's just like, oh fuck, like the air got sucked out the room or something. Again, that's just my opinion with how I am playing the game at the moment, with the like the situation that I am in. I may have a completely different opinion if it was just me just like sitting in my bed playing Bloodborne. It could be completely different. Yeah, I would wonder, like, I would like to try to just view that, like, if we watched someone else's playthrough where they didn't do any commentary or anything, just hear it just to get your opinion on it, because not that it's very musically inclined as a game, but the exact feelings of what you're talking about, I have those feelings. So but I also will say that I don't hear the music when we play, for most games, except for certain areas like in Paper Mario. Yeah. Because you'll see me grooving, but past that I really don't get that way. So I could see that why you would feel that way about it. And it's just, that's what I'm saying, like, it's not enough difference, you know, because like if there was enough difference, I would hear the difference even while we're talking. Because like even in Paper Mario, like I could hear the difference whenever we were like in that city and it like moved to the desert. There was a drastic change in tone, you know, and there's not enough change. That's the problem I have with it. But well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Opinions change. We'll see what happens. They do. And we hope you guys enjoyed this conversation that we had. And maybe you hated my opinions. Maybe you agreed with my opinions. I kind of ripped on this game a bit, even though I am digging the hell out of it. Everything that I ripped into, it's not enough to take away the actual gameplay itself, minus the camera. So I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Yeah. I can't be mad at it, really. Except for the camera and the crows. Well, I mean, once we get to another boss, we'll do it again, like do an update. Maybe we'll do like every boss or like every other boss. Yeah, something. We'll depending on how fast you're moving through it. Yeah. And then we'll rediscuss like some of this stuff, see what happens. Yeah. So comment down below if you agree with me or not, everybody, or tell me how much I suck. Don't That's wrong. Fine too, everybody. Stay buffed, everyone. Later. Hey Guild, we hope you enjoyed that video that you just watched. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below and tell me how bad I am at the video game or how bad my opinion is. Over here we have a playlist of me playing Bloodborne so you can see my experience. And over here we have the next episode of my video game journal. We hope you enjoy it and stay buffed, everybody.